He's just a friend. How many times have you heard a woman say this? How many times have men ignored it, only to find out later that just a friend wasn't so innocent after all? Here's the truth most guys don't want to admit. Women don't always tell the whole story. Sometimes they say a man is just a friend, but deep down, there's more going on. Maybe it's emotional, maybe it's physical, maybe she doesn't even realize it herself, or maybe she does. And if you're not paying attention, you could be walking straight into a situation where you're being played, manipulated, or even worse, wasting your time on a woman who doesn't truly respect you. So in this video, we're breaking down the 7 warning signs that a woman's friend is actually a threat to your relationship. Because if she's saying one thing but her actions tell a different story, you need to open your eyes before it's too late. Warning sign 1. Her body language says otherwise. Words can be deceiving. A woman might tell you, he's just a friend, but her body language, that never lies. The human brain is wired to send signals beyond words, especially when it comes to attraction. And when a woman is downplaying her connection with another guy, her subconscious behavior will betray her every time. Here's what you need to watch for. First, notice how she reacts when she talks about him. Does she laugh a little too much? Does she light up in a way that seems different? Does she say his name with a certain warmth, a certain familiarity, as if he holds a place in her mind that's more than just friendly? Even if she brushes him off with words, her tone tells a deeper story. Now let's go a step further. What happens when she's around him? If you ever see them together, watch closely. Does she lean in when she talks to him? Does she playfully touch his arm? Does she angle her body toward him, even when she's supposed to be with you? Here's something interesting about human psychology. When we're attracted to someone, our bodies naturally mirror them. It's subconscious. If he scratches his chin, and a few seconds later she does too. If he leans forward, and suddenly she follows. That's not an accident. That's a connection. Another dead giveaway. Nervous energy. If you ask about him and she suddenly gets defensive, fidgety, or starts over-explaining why he's just a friend, that's a massive red flag. If he's truly just a friend, why does she feel the need to justify it? And here's the ultimate test. When you're with her, especially in an intimate moment, does she ever bring him up out of nowhere? If a woman is thinking about another guy, even when she's with you, it means he's living in her mind rent-free. And no matter how much she downplays it, the truth is in her actions. Women might be able to control their words, but their body language, that will always reveal what's really going on. Warning sign 2. She defends him like he's her boyfriend. Let's be real. When a woman genuinely sees a man as just a friend, she treats him like a brother. Casual, fun, but with zero romantic tension. There's no hesitation, no deep emotional attachment, just a relaxed dynamic. But if she defends him like her life depends on it, you're dealing with something else entirely. Here's what I mean. If you casually bring him up, just asking a normal question, and she immediately jumps to his defense, almost as if you're accusing her of something, that's not normal, friendly behavior. Think about it. Let's say you ask, "So, how do you know him?" A woman with nothing to hide will answer normally. No tension, no panic, no need to prove anything. But if she gets flustered, if she starts talking too much, throwing in random details about why he's just like a brother or he's been there for me in ways you don't understand, that's when you know. Because that kind of response, that's emotional attachment. Now, here's where things get even more obvious. If you ever express the slightest concern about the guy, and she immediately turns it around on you, saying things like, "You're just insecure. Why are you being so jealous?" I can't believe you don't trust me. She's shifting the focus off herself and putting it back on you. This is classic deflection, and it's what people do when they don't want to admit what's really going on. Because let's be honest, if there was truly nothing there, she wouldn't feel the need to get defensive. And here's the real test. Ask her this. If he got a girlfriend tomorrow and started ignoring you, would you be okay with it? Watch her face. Watch her hesitation. Because if a woman truly sees a man as just a friend, she won't care if he moves on. She won't care if he stops talking to her as much. But if the thought of him pulling away bothers her, if she suddenly looks uncomfortable, as if losing his attention would actually hurt her, then deep down, she already knows the truth. And so do you. Warning sign 3. She talks about him a lot. You ever notice how people talk about things they can't stop thinking about? When someone's on your mind, they naturally slip into conversation, whether you mean to bring them up or not. Now, if a woman keeps saying, he's just a friend, but his name comes up constantly, that's not just casual friendship, that's emotional weight. Here's what you need to pay attention to. Does she mention him when you're talking about completely unrelated things? Does she bring him up when you're having deep or personal conversations? Does she use him as an example or comparison when you discuss relationships? Because if she's always dropping his name, even in small passing moments, that means he's taking up mental space. And if she's thinking about him that much, trust me, she's feeling something, even if she won't admit it. Now, let's get into the subtle ways she does it. One of the biggest giveaways is when she shares inside jokes or memories about him, especially ones where she reminisces with a certain kind of nostalgia. You can literally hear it in her voice, like she's reliving a moment that mattered more than she wants to admit. Another dead giveaway? She compares him to you. It might be subtle, but if she ever says, "Oh, he always does this thing where I wish you'd do that like he does. He totally understands me in a way that..." You need to recognize that for what it is. Emotional investment. If a woman is truly just friends with a guy, she won't feel the need to bring him into every conversation. But if he's always at the edge of her mind, that's because he holds a certain place in her emotions. And here's the final test. Does she light up when she talks about him? Watch her face, watch her energy, watch how she reacts without even realizing it. Because words can lie, but the way she says them, that tells the real story. Warning sign 4. She prioritizes him over you. A woman will always make time for what matters to her. That's human nature. If someone is important in her life, you'll see it in her actions, not just her words. So if she constantly chooses to spend time with him, answers his calls right away, or drops plans with you for him, you've got a serious problem. Because let's be real, when a woman is actually into a man, she will make him feel like her top priority. Now, some women will say, "But I've been friends with him for years." That doesn't matter, because friendships don't come before relationships. And if you're her man, you should come first. So, what are the biggest red flags? She texts him constantly, even when she's with you. If she's always glued to her phone, giggling at his messages while she's literally on a date with you, that's blatant disrespect. She cancels or reschedules your plans for him. If she keeps saying, "I'm supposed to meet up with him, but we can hang out another day," guess what? She's showing you exactly where you rank in her life. She runs to him when she's upset instead of you. This is one of the biggest indicators of emotional closeness. When something goes wrong, a woman naturally seeks comfort from the person she trusts most. If that's not you, that's a major problem. And here's the worst one. If she says something like, "I don't know what I'd do without him," or "He's the only one who really understands me," you need to wake up. because a woman should never be that attached to another man when she's in a relationship. At the end of the day, a woman chooses where she invests her energy, and if she's giving too much of it to him, that means she's already emotionally invested, whether she admits it or not. Warning sign 5. She gets defensive when you call it out. Let's say you finally decide to bring it up. You ask her straight up, "Are you sure there's nothing going on with him?" And instead of calmly explaining, she immediately snaps at you. She gets defensive. "Why do you even care? He's just my friend." She flips it on you. You're just being jealous. She makes you feel guilty for even asking. "I can't believe you don't trust me." All of these are classic deflection tactics, because here's the thing. When someone has nothing to hide, they don't overreact. They answer questions normally. They reassure you. They make sure you feel secure. But if she immediately turns it into an argument, that's a sign she feels caught. Now, let's go even deeper. Does she change the subject whenever he comes up? If she's truly just friends with him, she won't feel the need to avoid the conversation. But if she acts irritated every time you bring up his name, that's because she knows something isn't right. Another huge red flag: she refuses to set boundaries with him. If you ask her to put some distance between them and she freaks out, saying things like, "You're trying to control me. I can't just stop being his friend. Why should I have to change anything?" She's protecting that relationship for a reason. And that reason? It's because it's already crossed a line, whether she admits it or not. If a woman truly values and respects you, she will never make you question your place in her life. She won't be emotionally attached to another man. She won't be overly defensive. She won't make you feel like you're competing for her attention. She will prioritize you, because the right woman, she doesn't play games. She doesn't keep backup options. And she damn sure doesn't let another man get so close that it makes you uncomfortable. So, if you see these warning signs, don't ignore them. Don't convince yourself you're just being insecure, because deep down, you already know the truth. And as a man who knows his worth, you need to act accordingly. Either she chooses you completely, or you walk away, because a man who respects himself never stays where he isn't fully valued.